Assalamu alaikum. Many people have been asking, what's going on in Syria? Suddenly, there are news coming that the freedom fighters, the rebels, the groups, the Islamic groups, they are advancing. So what's really happening? It's very hard to summarize everything in just a small talk because this is a story of decades of injustice. This is the story of oppression that the Syrian people have been suffering from. But to start from the end, on the 27th of November, just about 2 weeks ago, an operation started from the north called Rad al-Udwan, deterring the oppression. That zone from where the freedom fighters started was under what was classified as the de-escalation zone, under the agreement that was signed in the year 2017 between Turkey, Russia, and Iran to grant the people of Syria a safe zone that was called de-escalation zone. But time after time, this was violated. The Syrian regime, the Iranian troops and militias that have been illegally in Syria, and the Russian army as well, they have been constantly bombing the civilians. So finally, it started. And what people did not expect is the swiping takeover of the cities, starting from the commercial capital of Syria, Halab, Aleppo, going down to Hama. And Hama, the unique city of Syria that was subjected to a massacre over 40 years ago, in the year 1982, before the internet and before the YouTube and before everything was recorded live, video and audio. Almost 40,000 people were massacred. Men, women, children. So the people, they were waiting for the day to liberate themselves. This is the day of liberation. And you could see from the people, the owners of the land, the tears of joy that finally they are free from the ruling of the family of al-Assad, the father, the former president, Hafez al-Assad, and his son, Bashar al-Assad. So this is what was happening. What started in 2011, on the 18th of March, as a small demonstration in the southern city of Dar'a, to ask the government and the authorities there in the southern city, to ask them to give them back their children. Because that time, if you remember, we're going back about 14 years ago, there was what was called the Arab Spring that started in Tunisia, spread to Libya, to Egypt. So a group of children, they wrote on the wall of one of the schools, يسقط النظام, down with the regime. What did the authorities do? The school called the security forces. They came and they arrested the children. So on the 18th of March, people gathered asking to give back their children. You know what was the response? The authorities told them, forget about your children. Get new ones. And if you're not men enough to get new ones, we will come and we will impregnate your women. That's what sparked the revolution against injustice, which most groups of the Syrian people participated in, men, women, children, in all cities. The next week, 25th, and why from 18th to 25th? Because it was illegal. It was very dangerous for a small group of people to gather. So they waited for Friday The only time where legally they can be together was Friday. So all the cities in the next week, on the 25th, went out asking for freedom, demonstrating outside the masjids, because that was the only place where they were able to gather. So what was the response of the regime? Gradually, but systematically, killing people, massacring them, imprisoning them. 10 years fast forward, most people forgot or gave up or thought that there is no hope. Why? Because although no regime can resist the legal and the just demands of its people, no tyrant can overcome his own people. But the problem was that the regime itself was seeking the aid and brought the aid of Iranians, Russians, then Americans came to support the terrorist Kurdish militia of PYK or PKK. So the people were fought by militia from Iran, militia from Iraq, militia from Afghanistan, and Hezbollah from Lebanon. On top of that, the Syrian army. So 10 years fast forward from 2011 to 2021, people started forgetting or giving up, except this small group that was there in the north. They were organizing, planning, and waiting for the moment, and the moment came. When people ask, why now? There is no better time than this moment, because these foreign forces that entered Syria to kill its own people, they were weakened. Yes, by Israel, and that does not mean that any Syrian would support Israel, but if you kill the killer who killed my brother, my father, I don't mind who is it. It doesn't mean that I support him. I have a just demand. I want justice for the killers who killed my people. There is no one can understand the struggle of the Syrian people like our brothers and sisters in Gaza. This is why you see the happiness from the videos that are coming from Gaza. Despite what they are going through, they are saying that they are happy for the freedom that finally the people of Syria are gaining. It's not over yet because, again, things are moving very fast. What will come next? No one knows, because the regime is full of tricks and is willing to sacrifice everyone as long as the president remains. So no one knows what will come next. But subhanallah, this was the result of the effort, the blood that was shed by sincere people that started in 2011 and for 10 years has been going on until now. Alhamdulillah, finally, Halab, Aleppo is liberated. Hama is liberated. Hims almost. And inshallah, Damascus. Actually, these forces didn't go south. They have to cross the two cities of Hims and the capital, Damascus, to reach south. But automatically, the two major cities of the south, Dar'a and Suwaida, they automatically were liberated. Why? Because their people on their own went out and they were able to expel all the forces of the regime. So this just shows that these are the demands of the people, the owners of the land. We just want our freedom. Many people who were displaced, they became refugees, and they lost their homes, and they were prevented from coming back. Now, when they were able to come back and meet with the loved ones, and you see how the, the emotions, the joy that they are happy, finally, that they are liberated. These are the owners of the land. Again, justice cannot be divided. If you support our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza, then you have to support the demand of the Syrian people for their freedom. Unfortunately, no one was talking about them because for some reason, the international community is not concerned as long as you kill people slowly. You don't use chemical weapons. You keep killing them, that's fine. And unfortunately, this was what's going on. Yes, there was economic blockade and boycotts, but we have seen how this would not affect at all any regime. Alhamdulillah, that the blood of the sincere people who went out just asking for freedom was not gone to waste. Now, the result of what was going on over 11 years ago, now we see it. The fruit is reaped. And inshallah, it will continue. If you follow sports, you like football, soccer, you have to learn about the Syrian goalkeeper, Abdel Basit Sarut, rahimahullah, who was only 19 years old when the Syrian revolution started. And 8 years later, in 2019, on the 8th of June, he was killed, he died, rahimahullah. So you have to know about him. If you know about the stars of this team and that team, you should know about this one. You should know about the sincere leaders, Abdul Qadir al-Salih, rahimahullah, in Aleppo, Zahran al-Lush, rahimahullah, in Duma, Usama al-Yatim, rahimahullah, in Dar'a, and many others who sacrificed their lives just to see their people free. When many people, as Allah Azza wa Jal says, حتى إذا استيأس الرسل وظنوا أنهم قد كذبوا جاءهم نصرنا فنجي من نشاء. The ayah before the last of Surah Yusuf. Until when the messengers reached the point of almost despair, our victory came. This is the moment. Alhamdulillah, we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to continue and to complete His favor and His blessing upon the people of Syria and all the people who are asking for their freedom. Our brothers and sisters in Gaza, our brothers and sisters in Myanmar, our brothers and sisters in Sudan who have been fought by the official regime and the militia that is opposing them. Our brothers and sisters from the Uyghur in China, and everyone who is oppressed on this earth. And unfortunately, the majority are Muslims. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal for all of them to give them their liberty, their freedom. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.